Yep. Ah, okay, cool. I'd rather wait for her to stop. Yeah. Know that. We're just gonna wait till she stops because. Did you know the Suns was? He's a centre back. Yeah, centre back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lingy will let us know, but yeah, usually we'll just cut the mics off for about 10 minutes. Shuffle. And it's great to be here at McEwen Reserve on Saturday afternoon for the Round 6 clash of GV Suns versus North Geelong Warriors. I'm Liam Nash, and I'm here alongside my co-commentator Blake Corso. Blake, how is it to be here, mate?
Oh, great, thanks, Kiwi. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and call this great game with you.
No worries, mate, and a great game it shall be. Now, both sides heading into the clash on a sort of different run of form. GV Suns falling 3-0 to the hands of Sydenham Park on Wednesday night, and that signalled their exit from the FFA Cup, whereas North Geelong produced a stirring 6-1 victory over Keilor Park. And now we're at the game, Blake. What did you make of the Suns' performance?
Oh, first half was fairly tight and even contest, but second half there was just... it was just all Sydenham. There was no GV Suns, and they're going to want to avenge that loss today. In a fairly lacklustre affair it was. So, yeah, Craig Carley's men wouldn't be happy by losing to a team that was lower ranked than them in the footballing pyramid. So, yeah, today's the day to avenge that.
Yeah, certainly. And in terms of league form, both are coming off losses. The Suns went down 1-0 to Brunswick City on Saturday, courtesy of a Thomas Biss finish, whereas the North Geelong Warriors, I believe, lost 4-2 at the hands of Bulleen Lions, which was actually the Suns' first win of the season. So we're just waiting for the players to come out now. But, yeah, both, as you mentioned, Blake, both teams will be looking to avenge losses and sort of make a comeback after a bit of a sort of lackluster period. The record so far reads 3 wins and 2 losses for the Suns. In terms of North Geelong, they have just the 1 win and just the 1 loss, but 3 draws. So, yeah.
Also looking like the Suns won't be lining up with star man Jamie England today. And Craig Carley, who started the FFA Cup game midweek, is also not dressed to play. So there's 2 regular fixtures for the Suns that won't be out there at all today, it seems.
Yeah, a bit of a shuffle of the pack. The Suns seem to keep a pretty firm lineup in the first 5 games, but after a recent few losses, they'll be looking to shuffle the pack and sort of head out with a different 11. Now, looking at the past meetings of these 2 sides, back in 2019, the scores were locked at 2-2, and the scorer on the day for the Suns was none other than Alo Kuol. That's a man you know plenty about, isn't it, Blake?
Yes, had a bit of a privilege to actually train and play with the great man back in 2016 at my solitary campaign at the GV Suns in the under-18s, and yeah, man was definitely a class above, and very proud of everything he's achieved to date and everything he will achieve in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, well said, Blake. Touching on his recent move to Stuttgart at the end of the season, did you ever think he was going to go from running around the back paddocks of McEwen Reserve to the top flight in Germany?
Look, I think everyone always knew that Alo was something special and had talents that you really can't teach, is just bred into him. I don't think anyone really expected a move of that magnitude so fast, given just how little football he's actually played for the Central Coast Mariners. But, yeah, he's just been that exciting and that good, and he thoroughly deserves the move. I'm sure he'll do great over in Germany.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of the many success stories to come out of the GV Suns of late. In more recent news, young goalkeeper James Neuenhausen has signed a 3-year professional contract with Melbourne City. Is that another man you might have fired a few shots off at, Blake?
Definitely had the odd training or two against Jimmy there. Watched him play quite a lot in his younger days, was often in the same team as one of my younger brothers. And yeah, just a class act all round. Great with his feet, great shot stopper, just really unbelievable talent.
Yeah, definitely. As we can see both sides lining up here today, it looks like the Suns are welcoming James Lelliott into the starting 11, and as well as Adam Gatcombe after he was rested on Wednesday night. Other than that, it looks like a fairly stock standard 11. I can see Matt Lelliott, I believe, as the players are shaking hands now. We're only minutes away from kickoff. It's a little bit overcast here in Shepparton, but it doesn't look like it's going to rain, and regardless, it should be shaping up to be a great afternoon of football. Any match predictions for today, Blake?
Oh, look, I think the Suns are definitely going to come out firing after that fairly dismal performance midweek. They've named a very strong lineup, obviously without Jamie England, as we mentioned before, which is a bit unfortunate. So, yeah, they'll have Craig Carley coaching from the bench for most of the game, along with his assistant, Mr. Pat Kilty. I think the Suns will run out 2-0 winners today, Nash. They've named a fairly strong lineup. I think they'll do quite well.
2-0, that's it's a pretty good prediction. I'll say 2-1 in the Suns' favour. North Geelong, a fairly unknown entity, as we mentioned before. We mentioned the last time they met was a 2-2 draw. Just going back another year, the Suns actually ran out 4-0 winners, with scorers being Carley, Jamie England twice, and Cody Selwood, another man that you know plenty about.
Yes, I've also played alongside the Big Skip, as he's commonly referred to, at the great club of Tatura. Yeah, great talent all round. One of the best players I've ever played with in my short playing career. Yeah, great bloke, great player.
Yeah, certainly, and he's a class act. We'd just like to give a shout out to our international viewers, as well as Alex Mitchell, the usual co-commentator, who's away in Noosa, I believe, celebrating his birthday with his parents. So we might welcome him back at the next home game. But for now, it's myself and Blake ready to call the Golden Valley Suns versus North Geelong Warriors here at McEwen Reserve. And it looks like the striker, Nicholas Jurkovic, to get us started. Anthony Benavac will go long, but it's cut out by Gatcombe. Shane Dunn gets the flick on. North Geelong will retain possession. Warriors will just sit on the ball here at the back, play it around. Varney Shamoon gives chase, but it's played away. Flicked on. There's Jurkovic, the big man. He'll look to get a toe forward, but it's played back to young Zach McLeod. What have you made of Zach McLeod so far this season, Blake?
I've been really impressed, to be honest, Kiwi. It's been really nice to see the Suns promoting some of the youth from their younger age groups. He's a fairly local boy, come out of Cobram a couple of years ago to come and play for the Suns, and it's really good that they've had the confidence in him to not go out and try and find perhaps a more experienced goalkeeper at senior level, but keep someone that they've already had on the books for a number of years playing under 20s. So,
yeah, absolutely. That seems to be a bit of a policy as the Suns work their way up into North Geelong's box, but it's cleared high and handsome towards the halfway line, and that man Jurkovic will look to get it down. The ball finds Opperman, the captain. He'll go back to the centre-back, and there's Benavac, the tall, commanding centre-back. He'll go back to his custodian.
Not sure if you viewers can see on the live stream there, but all the officials are wearing a blue armband to signify respect for referee round. Yeah, just to point attention to some of the abuse that the officials unfortunately cop not on a weekly basis, but far too often. So, yeah, that's what those blue armbands that the officials are wearing, and we hope they have a good game as well as the players.
Yeah, certainly. It's a great cause, and it's good to see everyone getting behind it as McLeod will roll out to Williamson. He'll look for Lelliot. I believe it's his first start of the season for the Suns. Shamoon will pick the ball up on halfway. Work it round. Here's Matt Lelliot. Goes all the way back to McLeod. He'll find Williamson, who pings one of his trademark diagonal balls, looking for Shamoon. And here's DeSmit. He's worked hard to fight for a place in the starting lineup. Nash will flick it back to DeSmit. Flashes it across the face, but there's no one really there to meet it. Lelliot does get on the ball, but it is deemed to have gone out already, and it'll be a North Geelong throw. Fairly end-to-end start here at McEwen Reserve. What have you made of it so far, Blake?
Oh, I think everyone's just trying to settle at the moment. The game's been very up and back from both sides. No one's really taken control as of yet. Really great to see Liam Kilty back in the starting lineup after, well, being rested for most of the FFA Cup game. He did come on the last 20 minutes as a striker. Not his preferred position, but somewhere that he does play on occasion. Can see him right now just barking orders to the rest of his teammates. And, yeah, he'll definitely help to settle this Suns team.
Yeah, certainly. Kilty is a player who's really shone this season, coming back from Green Gully, and has definitely carved a spot out for himself at the back there as Shane Dunn finds the centre-half pairing, Alice Williamson. That's James Lully. He'll look towards Jamie DeSmit on the right-hand side. Back to Gatcombe, who's been solid all year and actually been scoring a couple of goals from right back, funnily enough. We've got a few stats, don't we, Blake, in terms of the scorers for the GV Suns so far. Can you just run us through that now?
Yeah, well, the man you just mentioned then, Adam Gatcombe's got a solitary goal to his name, but also picked up 3 yellows, so he'd want to be careful today, try and avoid a suspension in the coming weeks. We've also had Jamie DeSmit on the score sheet with a single goal to his name also, but Sean Grant and Shane Dunn have both hit the double this year, 2 goals apiece each. So those are the top scorers for the Suns at this present time, and they're the ones that the Suns are probably going to try and look to today.
Yeah, definitely, and I believe that was Michael Anderson just receiving a little bit of attention, but he's up and he looks ready to go as the Suns will restart at the back. Keelty finds Williamson, who takes the first touch and looks to go for a drive. Finds DeSmit in the middle, but he misplaces his part, and North Geelong will resume with the left back. Shamoon gets a touch, but the ball finds the keeper, Hamish Flavel. Here's Banovac. Seen plenty of the ball. Goes back to George Ellis. But the ball is deemed to go out. And it'll be a Suns throw on the halfway line with Greg Nash. Goes back to Kilty. He'll go all the way back to McLeod. And then, as you mentioned before, Blake, it's great to see the Suns giving so many youngsters a go, especially this year. And it's they seem to have found themselves another gem in Brandon Giaccherini. But the ball's lost by Matt Lelliot. And here's Jurkovic. First time strike. Great save. The follow-up. And it's put in by that man, Ryan Opperman, for 1-0 here at McEwen Reserve. Just a sloppy mistake there. And that's really cost the Suns. Just came from nowhere. You can't.
First goal of the season for Ryan Otterman there. Good to see him get on the score sheet. Yeah,
definitely. And Suns will be shocked by that. That really just came from nowhere. Just a lapse in concentration. And they did well to pounce on it. Jurkovic with the initial strike, parried away by Zach McLeod. But there was no one picking up the loose ball apart from that man, Ryan Opperman, who slotted with aplomb. And that's 1-0 to North Geelong here at McEwen Reserve as the Suns with the restart. Here's Dunn. He's been a workhorse all year in the middle for the Suns. James Elliott goes for a drive. He finds his brother Matt. Looks up to George Murray on the wing. And that's Yuji Kin on the right wing giving chase. There's Dunn. So calm, so composed. Looks for Shamoon, who looks to be up front for the Suns. They have indeed shuffled the pack.
Suns would really want to make sure they tighten up and don't concede any more goals, especially this early on. We saw it midweek in the FFA Cup fixture. As soon as the first goal went in, another two quickly followed. So they're definitely going to want to tighten those screws up today to avoid a defeat, certainly.
Yeah, definitely. And North Geelong obviously capable of putting them in the back of the net, having scored 6 on Wednesday night, whereas for the Suns, keeping the clean sheet in the first half and then really just falling asleep as the game progressed. A couple of blistering counterattacks that really hurt the Suns, but they look to have composed themselves as North Geelong will come forward. The ball will find Banavac at the back. He'll look up, trying to find his right back, Ellis. He'll cut inside Nash. Opts for the middle, but the ball's well cut out by Elliott, and the Suns are on the break here. If Shamoon can round his man. Looks forward for Mirahi, who appears to be onside. He's driving through on goal, and it's a great challenge there from the North Geelong centre-back, and they will win the throw-in. Promising signs there for the Suns, Blake.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see the Suns getting forward as much as they have this early on. Very attack-minded team with the quality of players they've got out there, but also defensively solid as well. So it'll be great to see the contest we have today with both teams coming out so strong.
Yeah, definitely. The Suns still occupying possession inside North Geelong's half as the ball shifts right to Getcombe. He'll go for a little dart looking for Laliot, who he will find. DeSmit. Here's Laliot. Now, Laliot is a man who has a fairly notorious record for picking up cards. We've seen in the past that he can be quite... what's the word, Blake?
Oh, he's a bit ravenous in a tackle there, old Mudguts Laliot. He'd want to tone himself down today, otherwise he'll find himself with a second red card for the season. He's already got the one.
Yeah, certainly right. Always great to watch, but he does put in a fair few agricultural tackles, does Matt Laliot. But the Suns will regain possession at the back with Dunn, who'll go back to Laliot, who we just mentioned. He'll find Williamson. He'll chop a ball over the top, looking for DeSmit, who'll give chase, but that's put out by the keeper. It'll be a Suns throw-in high up the field. So still fairly end-to-end here at McEwen Reserve. You can't help but feel there's probably going to be another goal in the first half. Is that sort of what you think?
Oh, I can definitely see another goal at least coming in this half, Liam. I think it'll be a pretty free-flowing game, and we might see a few goals in this one. Goal might turn into a bit of an onion bag by the end of the day.
Yeah, spot on as Flavel picks the ball up and hands it to Banavac at the back. He'll go forward, looking for that man, Pikett.
Speaking of goals, Kiwi, great to see young man Fraser Gostray making the bench for just the second time this season, actually. Only had one senior appearance to his name this year. He's someone who's just scored goals for fun at under 21 and below level. Hopefully he comes on a bit later in this game and might even prove the difference.
Yeah, devastating in one-on-ones is the young Gostray. Has proved himself. We'll be looking to get some more minutes under his belt today. Interesting not to see young Brandon Giaccherini feature, though. I believe he plied his trade in the under-21s today, and he produced a pretty remarkable goal, did he not, Blake?
He certainly did late in the second half there to put the Suns up late in the dying stages. One of those players who's probably unlucky not to even be in the senior squad today. He's been in there fairly consistently all season, and I assume Coach Craig Carley just had a small word to him midweek about his performances maybe not quite being up to scratch.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but here's the Suns. Dunn will take an audacious stab at goal from about 30 yards. That goes high and handsome over the crossbar, and North Geelong will look to reset. Now, I believe the scores in the earlier games, we're not sure exactly whether it was 4 or 5-1 in the under-19s, but that did go the way of North Geelong. In the under-21s, as we were just mentioning before, I believe the Warriors did equalise late via a penalty to draw the scores level at 2-2, which the game finished. But it is currently 1-0 to North Geelong and the seniors here at McEwen Reserve. Goal courtesy of Ryan Opperman about 10 minutes in, as the ball's forward and the Suns will retain possession through Greg Nash, who'll take the throw.
Easily the GV Suns' most appearances, Greg Nash. He's someone who's played every year since the club's inception, one of probably only 2 players in this squad, himself and Craig Carley, to play every single season with the Suns.
Yeah, Greg Nash, my brother, he is probably the fittest man in the club, if not for Shane Dunn, as North Geelong has a drive on goal. What a strike! And it finds its way still in play somehow. It's rifled off Zach McLeod, and I don't know how that hasn't found the back of the net, but the Suns really escaped with one there, Blake. Run me through that strike.
Oh, geez, if there was VAR, the Suns might be in trouble there. I'm not sure if that ball actually crossed the line when it hit the underside of the crossbar, but the officials have waved it straight away, so obviously not much in it. Ferocious shot. Unbelievable stuff here.
Yeah, Jamie Nogler firing one from about 30 yards and very unlucky not to score as the Suns get a lifeline. They certainly don't want to concede another in the early stages of this first half here at McEwen Reserve. It's a long way back if they were to, but it's still 1-0 here, as Williamson will go back to his keeper, McLeod. He'll go long, but the ball's cut out by North Geelong. There's Kin, flicks it on, gets back on the ball, finds Opperman, the goal scorer. The Suns will go forward looking for Shamoon. 1-on-1, but Flavel does well to knock that into touch. Now, North Geelong have obviously a very strong starting lineup, but they've also got some quality on the bench. Youngster Lucas Skoko is the son of Socceroos legend Josip Skoko, the man who scored 9 goals in 51 appearances for the Green and Gold. As an Australian, Blake, you would have watched plenty of Josip growing up. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I actually saw that name on the team sheet, and I wasn't sure if it was Josip Skoko himself, but then I realised he'd probably be on the wrong side of 50 years of age. So, yeah, the fact that it's his son makes a great deal of sense.
Spot on there, as one of the North Geelong players attempted an audacious attempt from about halfway, but the ball finds its way back into the hands of Flavel at the back. Ball finds Ken in the middle. Flicked over looking for Jurkovic, but it's cut out by Kilty. Here's Ken again. Ken on the ball early. There's Pikett. Nash wins it back for the Suns. There's Mira, he finds some space on the left-hand side. Drives into the middle. DeSmit will pass it on to Shane Dunn. But here's Opperman again, the goal scorer. He seems to be through on goal. He looks to square it across, but really well cut out there from Liam Kilty. But the pressure's still on. Nash cuts it out. Kilty wins his header. And the Suns will break away. Scathe 3 with Murahi. It's well cut out there by that man, Banovac. Yep, we've just had word. The game that you're watching through the live stream now has been all done up by Lingy's Photography. So you have basically him to thank for what you're watching right now. Doing a great job with the camera and videography at the moment. But here's Jurkovic making a drive, well cut out by Kilty.
Making an absolute nuisance of himself this early on, Jurkovic. Can definitely see him getting on the score sheet if he continues to play this way for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, certainly. I was going to ask you, Blake, who's impressed you for both sides so far in the early stages?
Oh, definitely Jurkovic so far for North Geelong, but also thought Liam Kilty's been really good at back for the GV Suns, put out a few good clearances and played the ball out a number of times. Greg Nash would be another one, flawless as he normally would be on the left-hand side.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I'd probably have to be Opperman scoring the goal and almost getting another. Deciding to square it across, I thought he might have a go himself, as that's blazed well over the bar by Michael Anderson. There'll be a bit of a break here as the ball's returned to Zach McLeod at the back. But for the Suns, Shane Dunn for me. He's just class is permanent. Never shaky on the ball is the Irishman. And here's the Suns looking to restart. All the way back to Dunn. He'll fire it over looking for De Schmidt, who's drifted a bit wide from his usual central mid post. But it's well cut out by Morgan Filer. De Schmidt. He's done well to keep a hold of the ball. That's put out by Anderson.
Immaculate playing surface today. Really good to see that both the council and the GV Suns have really limited the use of this ground to have it in just pristine condition for these senior fixtures. It's looking 100%. Won't have any complaints about it today.
Yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. McEwen Reserve, one of the best playing surfaces in the league, especially the fact that they do share it with two other local teams, being Shepparton South and Shepparton United. To keep it in this sort of state all year round is a testament to the council and everyone involved. But here's North Geelong looking for Jurkovic. He beats Williamson, but the ball has gone out, although the referee will bring it back for a free kick. Now we'll just run you through the table. At the moment, Brunswick City, who the Suns did fall to last week, currently sitting top on 13 points. Then there are 3 teams on 9 points, which are Pascoe Vale, Kingston City, and the GV Suns. And 5th is Langwarrin on 8 points. Moreland City on 8, Northcote on 8, North Geelong 8th position at the moment on 6 points, followed by Bulleen, Moreland Zebras, Werribee, and Manningham FC, which at the bottom of the ladder at the moment.
The Suns would really want to put in a good performance and try and win this game. Just looking at the table currently, we know only the top team gets instant promotion. That looks like it's going to be Brunswick for the remainder of the season, just the way they've started, undefeated in 5. So Suns would want to be keeping pace with those other top 2 teams in Pascoe Vale and Kingston City to try and snag a qualifying spot into the MPL there.
Yeah, definitely. The Suns are in somewhat of a little hangover period after winning their first 3 games of the season, but just going 1-0 down here, you can't help but feel another loss would really hurt Craig Cully's men. They need to get back to winning ways, and they'll look to do that here against North Geelong. It's interesting. We don't hear the banging of the drums as we usually do here at McEwen Reserve when North Geelong come to town. It's usually good for the atmosphere, which is not too bad at McEwen Reserve at the moment, Blake.
Yeah, there seems to be an absence of the Central Coast-esque marching band from the North Geelong Warriors here. I can't see any drums. I can't hear anything. So I can only assume the bloke who brings them has decided to stay at home today, which is a bit disappointing.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but as always, plenty of people down here at McEwen Reserve as Varney Shamoon does really well to wriggle away from his man. Still got the ball. He'll win a corner for his side, but that shows how dangerous Shamoon can be in those areas. Very silky winger who's been a bit of a mainstay at the Suns for the past few years. Has really carved out a spot in that left or right wing position so far. He'll take the corner as the Suns have just started to shift play back into North Geelong's half for a bit. What do you reckon, Blake?
Oh, game's definitely starting to open up a bit more, a bit less of a ping-pong game and more of a football game now as Suns take this corner into the box. Cut out by North Geelong. Oh, Matt Lalliott with the shot. Oh. Amounts to nothing in the end. Back to the goalkeeper in Zach McLeod.
Yeah, as Matt Lalliott, he is known to hit a few screamers as well as the usual yellow and red cards, but that one was not pretty for the viewers. There's Williamson will go long. Looking for Mira here. We'll get there. Pressured by Ellis at the back. Bit of fancy footwork, but it is cut out by Ellis, who does well, but the ball is deemed to go out, and it'll be another GV Suns corner. Suns throwing the tall timber forward in Keelty and Williamson. Keelty, after getting a sniff at striker on Wednesday night, he'll be out to bag one as the ball's whipped in by Shamoon. Oh, flash towards a goal. Williamson will keep it in, but it will be cleared by Kostra, the man who has spent time in Poland after playing an NPL level for both Port Melbourne and Green Gully. So he's obviously got a bit of class about him, does Nicholas Kostra. Ball's fired in. And Opperman's done really well to flick that away. Sorry, it wasn't Opperman, it was Nogler. Ball back. Gatcombe forced to ping it long, under a bit of pressure. There's Pikett. Engaged in a physical battle with Williamson, and Williamson comes out the victor. Retains possession. Gets it back to Gatcombe, then Elliott. Back to Williamson, who opted for a fairly interesting ball. Just giving it straight away, and there's Ellis. All the way back to Morgan Filer. Goes long, but it's a bit of a nothing ball, and that'll run out for a goal kick.
Yeah, we've just seen there the GV Suns been very religious with playing out from the back this season. It's definitely a good thing compared to previous years where they've gone a little bit more direct. Probably lacking that target man up front this season. They're playing it around and playing it to feed a little bit more. But yeah, those risky balls inside, we just seen a turnover then is probably not what Craig Carley's asking for.
No, but as you mentioned, they have looked to be playing out the back, and the introduction of Shane Dunn in the midfield has really helped them allow to do that. Just such a metronomic midfielder, picks the ball up, but the Suns will get the ball here. There's Elliott. Pings out a pretty nice pass to Mira. He'll cut inside. Finds Shamoon. He'll go to Dunn, the man we were just talking about, but North Geelong could be on the counter here. The ball's out to Nogler. He'll go back inside to Pikett. The Suns are back on the ball here with James Elliott. Down the line, looking for George Murray. He's covered plenty of ground tonight for the Suns. He seems to be everywhere.
Yeah, certainly has, Nash. One of the GV Suns' best performing players this year for sure. And we also just seen star man Matt Elliott there running towards a player with the ball. It's hard to know what he's going to do sometimes. You see his eyes light up like he's going to dive in for a challenge, but thankfully he's restrained himself on this occasion.
Yeah, he did well to find Murray. It was a pretty nice pass there from Elliott. He can certainly play. Gatcombe looks to find one, but here's Opperman, who's proved a nuisance so far this afternoon. North Geelong just taking their time. There's Opperman again. Goes back. There's Kin, who's been everywhere as well. Here's your Anthony Benavac, who'll find Ellis. Chip forward over the head of Greg Nash, but Kilty's positioned himself well to pick that up, and he'll go all the way back to Zach McLeod. Score's currently 1-0 in favour of North Geelong Warriors here at McEwen Reserve, for those who are listening in. Suns have got the ball in the middle of the park with Shane Dunn, who goes all the way out to James Elliott, who can't quite keep it in. And there's Nicholas Kostra to take the throw in. He'll go back to Morgan Filer. Kostra's absolutely skinned James Elliott, and look for that man, Luka Jurkovic, who hasn't had a whole heap of the ball in the last 10-15, but proved a nuisance in the opening exchanges. Here's Williamson. Finds Elliott, who finds the other Elliott, being Matt. Now Shane Dunn. What can he do? Ball's now with Adam Gatcombe. Play switched over to Liam Kilty, who'll go for a bit of a drive. Picks out almost picks out a great pass, but Shamoon's chopped his man there. Got the ball, but also collected his man, and it'll be a North Geelong throw near the byline.
Just breezing over our records here. Suns would really be disappointed they've conceded a goal so early. They've actually conceded the fewest goals in the division so far this season. Even the top of the table, Brunswick City, have conceded 5. The Golden Valley Suns have only conceded 4 goals all season, or 5 now. But, Craig Carley will certainly not be happy with that, considering how tight they've managed to keep it all season so far.
Yeah, you're right, Blake. You've mentioned they've kept very tight at the back, but they've also only scored 6 goals in 5 games so far, which is a real warning sign. But they might look to poach one here as the ball's flicked over to James Lally on the right wing. He'll cut it back across looking for the Smith, but the ball just evades him. Suns will still have the ball with Dunn. He'll flick it into the path of Nash. What's he got? A ball looking for the Smith. He can only flick it on to Pike it, and he'll go long looking for Luka Jurkovic, but Guilty. He's too quick for the old fella. And it goes all the way back to McLeod. Yeah, like you mentioned before, Blake, they have done well to only concede 4, and that's been a real worry for the Suns in seasons past. And I think a man that they have to thank for that is Alice Williamson, the young centre-back. Spent time, I believe, at the Mansfield Town and Nottingham Forest Academies as a junior. Actually played up front for some time, but has really carved a spot for himself in centre-back. Have you been impressed with him so far tonight, Blake?
Yeah, certainly, Kiwi. I think he's been great all season, matter of fact, and I think young Liam Kilty will certainly be learning a lot from him playing alongside such an experienced and well-travelled defender. And Zach McLeod as well, certainly part of that defence that's only conceded the 4 goals. They're all playing really well together, which has been a problem for the Suns in some previous seasons. When they start to concede 1, normally 2 and 3 goals will follow, but it's just not looking likely this season. So it's very positive signs.
It's quite an interesting backline with Zach McLeod, who's only still in his teens, I believe. Williamson and Kilty, still both very young. And then you've got Nash and Gatcombe are about 100 years old between them. So, no, they've done well to only concede 4, but now 5, obviously, with the scores reading 1-0 in North Geelong's favour. Probably about halfway through the first half here. Is Jamie Nogler, who hasn't probably seen as much of the ball tonight as he'd wanted to. Goes back to Hamish Flavel, who'll ping it long for Kosdra, but the ball is out for a GV Suns throw-in. Here's Kilty. He'll find Elliott. He'll go to Dunn. Just stands on it and opts to find Williamson. He's just drifted out to the right. Suns pushing high from the back. Fullbacks and wingers getting really wide. As one of them, Shamoon, gets on the ball. He's got round his man and fires a shot, but great save there from Hamish Flavel. Knocks it out. And possibly one of the best chances for the Suns so far, Blake. What do you reckon?
Yeah, certainly probably the best chance they've had so far in this game from Varney Shamoon, one of the inaugural players of the Suns when they were in the top division of the NPL. Went away for a year or two, but has since made his return. Definitely a cult figure amongst the club. Everybody loves him. He's great to have in the dressing room and great to have around the club. But, yeah, he's really a great player.
Yeah, great player, great bloke, and he's got a great shot on him, which we just saw before. But North Geelong's keeper, Hamish Flavel, did really well to keep that out. Just a bit of a commotion here as James Lelliott's throwing his weight around in the box. Referee doesn't seem to like it all too much, but it will still be a GV Suns corner regardless. Murray sticks the arm up, whips it in, going towards the back post, and it's headed out well by North Geelong. Here's Opperman, the goal scorer. What's he got? Goes back to Ellis. He'll find Morgan Filer. Probing ball inside to Pike it. Back to Opperman. It's cut out. Oh, and a terrible tackle there from... who's that? That was Nicholas Kosdra. He'll earn a slice of cheese for that tackle, but Shamoon's just in a bit of pain here. Still on the ground. Won't need attention, but it'll just give both sides a little bit of a chance to reset, take a breath. What did you make of that tackle, Blake?
Oh, a bit malicious in intent, I think, there, Kiwi. Very lucky to escape that.
Yeah, for sure, but it was just a yellow card regardless, as Suns will restart. Dunn's back on the ball, as he loves to do. Chips one from left to right, looking for Laliot. Gets a hit on the ball, but ends up with Jamie Nogler, who's on a dart. Looks long for his captain, Opperman, but McLeod will see that out and leave it for Greg Nash.
I just feel like he's been around forever, that Greg Nash. The club can't get rid of him. He's just been such a consistent performer over the last 8-9 seasons for the club. It's hard to imagine life without him in this team.
No, you did right, and I mentioned it to him every season when you come into Chura to play with your brother, but he never really gives a straight answer. But yeah, Greg, 5-yard pass Nash, as I like to call him, just does the simple things well, and I think that's why Craig Carley's enjoyed having him in his side for so long, as he gets stuck in and looks to win a header. But here's Jamie DeSmet, he can hit him. Rockets one off the right into the hands of Favel, but I have seen Jamie DeSmet score a fair few bangers in his time, even in the Basel playing for Shepparton, as he did a couple of years ago. Has done really well to move up a step into the Suns lineup and has looked to feature more often in the starting lineup, as Ken fouls Shane Dunn. Looks to go quick, but he'll find DeSmet. He'll go back to Williamson. Now Gatcombe. Williamson again, looking for that long ball, but it just hasn't really paid off tonight. Suns probably not high enough on the line. But what do you think's going through the mind of Craig Carley at the moment, Blake?
Well, I think he'll be hoping halftime comes very soon, Kiwi. Suns looking... I wouldn't say they've had complete control of this game. It's been a fairly open affair. Both teams have had quite a bit of the ball. And he's going to want to get the boys in the rooms quite quickly and, just let them know what's going through his head. And I think that's about all Craig will say. He's a man of few words. He doesn't tends not to overspeak or say too much, but I think he'll definitely put his 2 bob in at halftime.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think he'll be overly disappointed. The Suns haven't played poorly. Apart from the goal, they have had a lot of the ball, which they probably haven't in other games, but just haven't been able to convert and really haven't made too many chances of it up top. But as long as they can keep it at 1-0 here, or even pinch one before the half, I'm sure they'll have a formula of how to get back into this game in the second. But here's Laliot. He'll go to Dunn. Chops a wicked ball out to the left to Murihi. What's he got? Fires it across the face. Who's there to meet it? Yuri Kin. Puts some snow on it. Yeah. Dunn just getting a bit handsy there with John Pikett. North Geelong will earn a foul. Go quick. Back to Kin. And he gets fouled again. This time by DeSmet.
Yeah, really great to see DeSmet making that fairly monumental leap from the Shepparton Soccer Club in the Basel League to the MPL2. It's one of those jumps that a lot of players try and fail to make, unfortunately, but he's definitely taken his opportunity with both hands and been playing some really promising football this year, so that's great for him personally and great for the club.
Yeah, definitely. You're right. And Shepparton have had a fair few names to feature in the GV Suns, DeSmet being one of them. Another Dan Heffernan, a striker back in 2016, actually scored a hat-trick on trial for Central Coast Mariners, but somehow never got the call-up. And how could we forget a local, possibly the most famous export to come out of Shepparton, but the ball goes towards the back post from North Geelong, but the Suns will escape. With just about 5 minutes till the half here at McEwen Reserve, the score is 1-0 in favour of North Geelong Warriors, who are on the ball. They'll go wide looking for right back Ellis. He'll go back to Flavel, who picks out Jamie DeSmet, whose touch just evades him. Banavac will find his centre-back pairing, Morgan Filer. Filer on the ball. Ellis making that run forward, and he will get it. No, he won't.
Do you think either team will be making any changes at halftime, Kiwi? Most noticeably the GV Suns. They got Sean Grant on the bench, who I believe is quite fresh, a great impact player. Do you think they'll be bringing him on soon?
Yeah, they might need to change things up a bit at the top. Shamoon's done well, but they just need to have to think that they've only got just over 45 minutes to pinch a goal here, and they've only had one shot on target, so more needs to be done as Shamoon flicks the ball looking for Shane Dunn. They've also got Darcy Paulick, a very creative midfielder who provides that spark when he comes on. Fraser Gostray, who we did mention before, can do a job. So yeah, there's no shortage of options in terms of attacking flair for the Suns, but we'll see what the second half has to offer. There's still a few minutes to go here in the first. Suns with the ball out on the right. Lelliot looks for the overlapping run of Adam Gatcombe. Fizzes the ball in. And it's hit the crossbar, but Murahi's here to fire it in. The equalizer, George Murahi, has just scored from about 4 yards to level things here at McEwen Reserve. Blake, run me through that goal.
Oh, this is exactly what Craig Carley would have wanted. Shot at goal, palmed down by the keeper, scored in by the number 9 from the GV Suns. Absolutely, Craig Carley is ecstatic. I can see him. He was ecstatic. He's calmed himself down now, fortunately. But yeah, exactly what the GV Suns would have wanted to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Really came from nothing, much like North Geelong's goal. Ball went out right. Adam Gatcombe did well with the to get the overlapping run. Fizzed it in. Varney Shamoon stuck his neck out. Ball ping-ponged around a bit off the crossbar and fell at the feet of George Murray, who couldn't miss from less than 6 yards. And the scores are now 1-1 at McEwen Reserve. Yurikin goes long for North Geelong. Kilty cuts it out as he's done all evening so far for the Suns. Chips it looking for Murray. Great touch out of his feet. Second wasn't quite as clear or clean, but Suns will still have the ball here. Not long to go now in this first half. But the dressing room's mood will have definitely picked up from a Suns perspective after they've just scored the equalizer. They'll have to make sure they hold tight, and they haven't. Ball slipped through, and it's somehow not converted by Michael Anderson, who is on the floor. We're not entirely sure what's happened here. We believe it'll be a goal kick, but Anderson is clutching his shin in pain. GV Suns very lucky not to concede directly after scoring, as they did against Kingston City a couple of weeks ago. What did you make of that chance, Blake?
Oh, look, he probably should have done a little bit better there. In the end, the ball's nearly ended up over the back fence and into the car park. So definitely an opportunity gone begging for the North Geelong Warriors there. Yeah,
you're certainly right. And he's still down, as he will receive some medical attention, will Michael Anderson. But Suns again, just sloppily giving it away in the middle of the park. Yuri Kin slipping through Anderson, who stabbed it about 5 yards over the bar. The boys just taking a minute, getting their breath back. And they'll have another chance to do so in a few minutes when the referee's halftime whistle blows. But it will be a GV Suns goal kick to restart play. We've got a little pitch invader here, as Mick Crisera says no, not just yet, young fella. But we're back on, and the ball's found Shamoon. Shouts for handball here, but the referee waves it away. Alice will go back to Flavel. Pings it wide to Kosdra. Go forward to Nogler. Winds one up, but Shane Dunn parries that off for a North Geelong throw. Just a young fella, a bit eager to jump on the pitch for the halftime show, Blake.
Yeah, took club president Mick Crisera there to drag that young supporter off the field. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He just wanted to get amongst it, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Mick move that quick before. He made a quick dash to stop the young fella from getting on the pitch, but to no avail. Greg Nash will pick up the ball and toss it in for the Suns. Scanning for options is Nash. North Geelong doing well, but DeSmit will put that chest back. Nash to DeSmit, to Murray, back to DeSmit. He chops it into the middle, but it's cut out well by Kosdra. Finds Nogler. But Nash will go back to McLeod. Keelty drops the shoulder and pings one long off the left. Well, Shamoon chasing hard and does well to force, I believe that was Morgan Filer, to chip it out for a Suns throw-in. Nash now, about 80 yards up the pitch. He flings in the direction of Dunn, who will get on the ball. Goes back to Nash, finds Dunn again. Nice little work between those two. Dunn will go back to Lelliot. What's he got? What he's got is a 5-yard pass back to Keelty. And the Suns sort of just giving up a fairly good bit of territory there, deciding to go all the way back to Zach McLeod in goal, but still have the ball nonetheless. Found after scoring that goal, they've just sort of really pricked up in confidence, haven't they, Blake?
Yes, certainly have. Only probably a couple of minutes till halftime now, if that. I've just seen the referee check his watch a number of times. But, yeah, Suns are definitely looking to try and get another and another, the way they're playing.
Yeah, certainly. They possibly could have done a little bit better in the corner there, but they'll be happy with not conceding for now. There's Shamoon making a nuisance of himself up top. And the ball will find DeSmit, who's being pulled, but he'll get it away to James Elliott. Gatcombe looks over the top, and it's punched away by Flavel. Under a bit of pressure. There's Murray. Looks to flick it round his man, but it's well cut out by Ellis. Here's Nash. Goes into the middle for Elliott. Will he shape up for a shot? No. He'll go back to Williamson, who skins his man, does the centre back, but possibly left the Suns in a bit of a hairy spot here, but Ryan Opperman can't find his man as Adam Gatkin chops that out for a North Geelong throw. Ball's with Morgan Filer, who finds Anthony Benevac. As the ref has confirmed, 1 minute of extra time. Here's North Geelong looking over the top for Pikett. But Williamson just does so well. Here's Yuri Kin looking to put a bit of pressure on Greg Nash as he does. And he wins the throw for North Geelong. In a good spot here. Only seconds to go. There's Alice looking for the nutmeg on Greg Nash, but he won't get it. Here's Michael Anderson. Flings run across, but it's too low, and Keelty clears it out with ease. There's Shamoon. Still keeps a hold of it. Goes quick, but just wasn't on the same wavelength as Shane Dunn there, as North Geelong will pick up the ball at the back, go back to the left back, Kosdra. Whistle only seconds away, surely. Here's the captain and goal scorer for North Geelong, Opperman. Chips one over the top, but there's no problems there for Gatcombe. Shimmies around his man. James Elliott. Back to Ellis Williamson. And that'll be it here at McEwen Reserve. Scores a locked level at 1-1 here. Ryan Opperman scoring early to put North Geelong ahead, but George Murray, the left winger for the Suns, popping up in the box in about the 35th minute to restore parity here at McEwen Reserve. What have you made of the first half so far, Blake?
Oh, certainly an entertaining display. I think Yuri Kin's been excellent for North Geelong, and equally Shane Dunn for the Golden Valley Suns, both been playing a really good game. Jurkovic was very lively early, but had his influence slightly dampened over the course of the half. Varney Shamoon was also lively, and it's really shaping up to be quite an interesting contest.
Yeah, definitely. I think there'll be all to play for here at the in the second half at McEwen Reserve. But that'll be all from us at the moment, as we'll take a break. We've been Liam Nash and Blake Corso, and we will return in the second half for GV Suns versus North Geelong Warriors. For the Suns, George Mirahy, who's on the ball now, equalising in the late stages of the first half. But the Suns just starting forward early, but North Geelong picking the ball up. There's Flavel, he'll go long. Jurkovic with the flick on. And there's Opperman. So just touching back on that first half, Blake, highs and lows in your opinion?
Well, it was great to see both teams having a bit of attacking intent and not just sitting back and trying to soak up pressure. Got a bit of movement around the box here. Jurkovic plays the ball back out to a teammate, comes back into the box and is quite easily cleared out by Shane Dunn, and the Suns are now on the counter.
Here's Shamoon, who had a pretty impressive first half. Battled hard to eventually get the ball to Mirahy for the first goal for the Suns. But, yeah, Jurkovic with a good chance. Didn't manage to fire off a shot whilst being in the Suns 18, but Banovac, he goes back to Alice. Banovac again. Zach McLeod goes high. Shamoon rolls his man, but there's Filer. Now to Smith. He'll go wide to James Elliott. Touch out of his feet. Flicks it across the box. But Michael Anderson will get there ahead of George Mirahy. We'll go for a bit of a drive up the right-hand side. Finds touch for a Suns throw-in. Doesn't appear to be any changes at the break so far. Both sides remain unchanged heading into the second. But, yeah, as it finished in the first, has started in the second, pretty end-to-end. Here's Nash. Goes long. There's Dunn putting the pressure on. Anderson does well to go back to Alice. Flick it forward.
Just touching on Jurkovic, you've just seen him there. Had a good chance in the box, but didn't amount to anything. That's probably something the Suns have lacked in previous seasons, just a big hit man up top. It can make it quite difficult when you're playing with quite a smaller size squad, physical-wise. I think that's definitely something the Suns have lacked since the departure of Alo Qual, who was very short-lived, unfortunately, only playing the one season in the senior setup.
Yeah, speaking of Alo, it was sort of inevitable, his departure, but it did look before the season that they were going to have the services of his two brothers, Garang and Teng, before the season, but both put in a fairly decent pre-season for the Suns and both departed to A-League clubs in Central Coast to join his brother, Garang, and Teng made way for Melbourne Victory. But here's Murray flashing the ball across the face of the box, and it's just cut out by North Geelong. Great chance there for the Suns. Again, like most of the chances so far this game, have sort of come from nothing, but the Suns will have a corner, and Shamoon's jogging over to whip it in. But, yeah, where did that one come from, Blake?
Come seemingly out of nowhere, Kiwis. Oh, Suns have taken it short. Out to the number 9 there, back into the box about the penalty spot, and the ball's calmly headed away by North Geelong defender.
Yeah, you're right. Probably didn't make as much use of that corner as they would have wanted, but it's been a handball about halfway in the North Geelong's half, so Suns will have another stab at it here. Dunn stepping over it.
Just while play's halted temporarily, Garang Qual's been making the team of the week for the Central Coast Mariners sides at least 5 or 6 times in the last couple of months, so it's really great to see him flourishing there out on the Central Coast with his brother. Oh my goodness! We have a goal. We have a goal. It is the evergreen Adam Gatcombe with his second goal of the season. Unbelievable stuff. Suns go 2-1 up just on the restart of the second half.
Adam Gatcombe hit that as sweet as a nut off the left peg, rifled it into the top left-hand side of the North Geelong's net. And the Suns, you can see it how much it means on the players' faces. They've just gone 2-1 up here at McEwen Reserve over North Geelong Warriors. And what a turnaround to go 1-0 down in the first, fairly early on, almost concede a second, and really drag it back to now be in the lead. What are your thoughts, Blake?
unbelievable from the Suns, really. They've clearly come out with great intent this second half, looking to play very quick and try and get North Geelong as early as possible, try and get a couple of goals in the back of the net, and they've done just that through Adam Gatcombe.
Yeah, Suns extremely hungry from the off here. They just got to be a bit careful. They almost conceded after scoring in the first half, and North Geelong looked to drive ahead before, but they've just slowed things down again, and it will be Greg Nash to restart play from the left-hand side. He goes forward. Shamoon receives a bit of a push in the back, but referee lets it go as Ken finds Kostra on the left-hand side. He looks up and goes coast to coast, but Nash cuts that out. Anderson sticks an elbow into Dunn, and that'll be a GV Suns free kick. Adam Gatcombe, he's been a stalwart at the club since coming over from one of the Cobram sides a few years ago, and has just worked wonders wherever he's been placed in this GV Suns lineup, and he's had a really great game tonight for the Suns. Is that what you're seeing, Blake?
Yeah, certainly. Seems like he can just go forever, this man. Adam Gatcombe was a cult hero down at Cobram for a number of years, where he played alongside the likes of Craig Carley and Jamie England. He's really been relishing this right fullback role, which he hasn't always played, but he's been doing very well there for the GV Suns. And I know for a fact a lot of the younger boys around the club tend to look up to him as a leader and someone they can learn a lot from. And
just in a bit of news here, it seems that the captain Opperman's gone down. He's left the field to play as a couple of North Geelong substitutes have gone for a bit of a jog, signalling he might not be fit to carry on. But Anderson's been dragged down, and it will be a North Geelong free kick just inside the GV Suns half here. It will be Anderson to take as the Warriors throw a few men forward. Goes short. Here's Banavac. Finds Morgan Filer. He goes back to a centre-half pairing, Banavac. Flicks it out. Anderson does well to keep that in. Chips it over the top, but Keelty, all 6'5" of them, and it heads them out. And you'd have to say Liam Keelty has been a standout for the Suns tonight.
Yeah, he certainly has, Kiwi. Speaking of the 6'5" man himself, I remember when I first met the lad, I think I was about 18 years of age, and I assumed he was older than me. He was only about 14 the first time I met him. Just an absolute mountain of a man.
Yeah, I was probably there that night. I'd just come fresh off the boat from New Zealand and went to a GV Suns under-18 practice, and Pat Keelty, his father, he said, "You'll never believe how old this kid is." And I didn't, to be honest, at first, but he's really excelled. But the Suns on the charge here again. Murray slips it into Shamoon, gets around his man, and he blasts it in for the Suns' third. Varney Shamoon converts a fleeting counter-attack for the GV Suns here. The scores now read 3-1 in the Suns' favour here at McEwen Reserve. And what a turnaround. The Suns have really dug deep to come out from the second half, from the first half firing. And Varney Shamoon knocks home the side's third.
Oh, you absolutely love to see it there, Liam. Suns putting on such a great performance at home. Still got at least a good half an hour to play, but the way they've started this second half has been really quite incredible. I can't see Craig Carley looking to drag anyone off anytime soon.
Yeah, and it came from that man, George Murray, who scored the Suns first in the first half. Picked out Shamoon, who shimmied around his man and plastered it to the right hand, past the right hand of Hamish Flavell in North Geelong's net. But North Geelong are on the ball here with Morgan Filer. We'll find Banavac. They've been solid enough at the back, have those two, but just the pace up front of the Suns have been pretty hard to handle. Here's Kostra. He'll find Filer. He'll go for a bit of a drive. Flicks one with the outside of his foot. And it's offside. Craig Carley, after a few rough weeks from a managerial perspective, he must be absolutely over the moon with how his side's come out in the second half.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. He's one of those players and coaches, is Craig Carley, that is equally good at both roles. He's a fantastic player and just as good of a coach. He really does motivate this young playing group. Everyone certainly looks up to him.
Yeah, certainly. And he does throw on the boots from time to time, as he did on Wednesday night. I believe he played a full 90 against Sydenham. But he was happy enough to pass the baton on to Shamoon, and it's obviously paid off with Shamoon setting up one and scoring another. And he looks to have picked the pocket of Morgan Filer, which he has. Back to Dunn, who has a dig, but it's cut out. Here's Nicholas Kosdra. Gives it away, and the ball's chipped over the top, looking for Muri here, who'll contest, but Flavel will pick the ball up and look to distribute from the back. He'll take his 6 seconds, get his side up, and ping that one long. Ball goes over the halfway mark and is flicked on by John Pikett. McLeod, who hasn't had a whole lot to do in this initial period, in the second half, sorry. Just for those listening in, it is 3-1 in the Suns' favour here at McEwen Reserve. But here's North Geelong. A ball's flashed across the face, but there's only John Pikett to meet it as Greg Nash clears up.
Someone who has seen a fair bit of the ball today would be young Jimmy Lalliott. It's great to see him coming back from yet another injury setback and continuing to start games in the seniors. Oh, and there's a shout for handball here in the box. Waved away by the referee. Absolutely nothing in it, he says.
Yeah, almost a heart and mouth moment for the Suns as the ball did strike Liam Kilty, as many of the North Geelong players and supporters did deem it to come off his arm, but the referee said no. There is Kilty, who finds Shamoon, who's really brought it the second half. Suns throwing their weight around here. As Nash gets on the ball, he'll find George Muri. He's had a sensational game at left wing so far for the Suns.
Yeah, that's certainly one player I don't think Craig Carley will be looking to take off, just the impact he's had on this team. I wouldn't be surprised if we see James Lalliott make way in the next 10 to 15 minutes, just given that he's coming back from such a long injury layoff. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Sean Grant or Fraser Gostre take up that position on the right wing.
Yeah, definitely. But here's Shamoon again. He's been the Energizer Bunny tonight. He hasn't stopped running, but Muri drives into the box, shrugs off his man. He's got plenty to aim at, but it's well cut out there by North Geelong. Another scything attack there from the Suns, almost resulting in a fourth, but North Geelong hanging on by the skin of their teeth here. This could turn ugly if the Suns keep their foot on the pedal here at McEwen Reserve. The scores do remain 3-1, and it will be a GV Suns corner. What would you be doing here if you're Craig Carley? Would you be taking anyone off or keeping it largely unchanged as it passes the hour mark here at McEwen?
I'd probably be looking to keep things pretty much the same as they are. Obviously, I mentioned before with Jimmy Lalliott coming off such a long injury layoff as the ball comes into the box here. A deflected shot by Adam Gatcombe. Looks to put the ball back in, and the referee's put his flag up for a foul. As I mentioned, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jimmy Lalliott come off just because of such a long injury layoff, but I don't think he'd be looking to make too many changes. He'd probably just be telling the boys, just keep doing what you're doing, don't overcommit, just stay defensively solid.
Yeah, that's really all it is. The Suns don't necessarily need to score another. They just have to keep them out at the moment, which they have done a good job of in the first little period of the second half. Have really been laying it on thick in terms of pressure in the North Geelong midfield. But here's Michael Anderson. He loses the ball, and Murihi has just been relentless. That's well cut out by, I believe, Anderson. Here's Matty Lalliott under a bit of pressure from Jurkovic, who hasn't featured on the ball at all, really, for North Geelong in the second half. Just hasn't had any service. Neither has Ryan Opperman, who slotted home North Geelong's first and only goal with real aplomb. Nevertheless, Suns will restart. Here's Williamson. Drives it forward for DeSmit. It's been a little bit quiet. It hasn't really put a foot wrong. Here's Nash. Suns happy just to keep it ticking in the middle. Done with the probing ball forward for Shamoon, but Flavel's onto that early.
great to see the Suns putting on such an impressive display at home as we've seen so far. It's really good for them having such a strong home crowd here in Shepparton, giving they're so far away from their city counterparts. They've got Langwarrin away, looking at the fixture next week, but then have a consecutive run of 4 home games against Northcote, Moreland Zebras, Werribee City, and then Moreland City, all at home. So they're going to look to take as many points from possible over those next 5 remaining games.
Yeah, certainly. You could see how much it meant to the home fans and the Suns boys when they were able to produce that 2-0 win against Bulleen in round 1, but they haven't had a whole heap of success since. But here's North Geelong flashing one across the face. That was Jamie Nogler, the left winger. Just a bit high for the men at the back post, but North Geelong probably looking to chop things up a bit here, shake up the pack, as there are a few substitutes warming up on the far side of the ground. Just starting to darken up a touch here at McEwen Reserve. The lights are on, and we're probably about halfway through the second half as Matt Lally gets on the ball, puts his foot through it, and Shamoon gives chase. Morgan Filer, DeCanio that back to his keeper. Pick up the ball again and flick it round the bend to Nicholas Kosdra. Out to Nogler. Shouts for the ball to be able to play, but Lino says no. Here's Kilty. He goes to Elliott. Bit of a drive. Pings it out to George Murray on the left. Back to Nash. Recycles it through Kilty. And the Suns just doing a really good job here of keeping the ball. Just tiring out the North Geelong players by not sitting on it, taking too many touches, and just working hard off the ball, which is always important. But here's DeSmit. He'll go for Nash, who's in a bit of nosebleed territory. And he'll win a throw-in for the GV Suns, just inside North Geelong's half.
Just touching on the Suns there in possession, it's definitely one of Matt Lalliot's finer points, winning the ball and managing to keep it and play it around with his teammates. It's definitely something that he excels in this team, and something that they're very grateful to have him in the team for. He's definitely a leader in that aspect.
Yeah, has not featured all too often for the Suns, but it is good to see him back in the orange jersey, starting for the Suns tonight. Has worked tirelessly in the guts, as has Shane Dunn and Jamie DeSmit. With the exit of Jamie England, we're not sure what's going on there, but he leaves a big hole, which those two have filled really well. Here's Nash under a bit of pressure, finds Murray, rolls it as Kin gives pressure. That's Lalliot again, doing his janitorial role and mopping up and distributing. Gatkin will shin that forward, and that man Banavac will head back to his keeper. He'll roll it out. Looks long and left, but Gatkin's there to meet it. Offman again, just forced to go back to his keeper. So Suns just slowly pushing the defensive line forward up towards that halfway line, just giving North Geelong no time in the middle of the park. Making them resort to long ball football, which they've opted for here, and it seems to have worked as Kosdra has picked up the ball, puts it across, and it's just gone over the head of, I believe, John Pikett. Good chance there for North Geelong. Now get the ball back again here through Michael Anderson, who has been fouled, but Blake, yeah, Suns are just a bit lucky there to escape from that chance from North Geelong.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, Kiwi. You can see North Geelong definitely taking a more direct route to goal in this second half, being 3-1 down currently. They're not playing it on the ground as much. I think they've realised the Suns have got them covered in that aspect, so they're definitely going for a more direct approach.
Yeah, certainly, and we can just see North Geelong are opting to make a change. We've got the departing George Ellis making way for Thomas Hidditch. So obviously the Warriors managers just decided to throw another body up top and put a bit more pressure on the Suns, as Starting to get into an area. There's Cosdra, whips the ball in, and he's hit it in. What a save from Zach McLeod to deny North Geelong a possible second. That just shows that this kid has got plenty of potential. Opperman. He'll stand over the corner on the left-hand side, looking to whip one in. Suns will have to be diligent here. McLeod again comes to punch and does so. But here, that's flashed left of the left-hand upright. And the Suns have got away with one there.
Certainly has been playing very precociously, young Zach McLeod, all season in goals. We know goalkeepers tend to take a slightly longer time to develop than most other players on the field, but he has just been exceptional all season and today.
Yeah, certainly. And he one thing he doesn't have any shortage of is confidence. He's very vocal and likes to let his players know when they aren't performing their roles. So that's something Craig Carley's obviously seen in him and decided to reward him on. But here's Gatcombe. Suns just encroaching into the North Geelong half here. That'll be flicked away by Jamie Nogler, looking for Jurkovic, but his touch evades him. Bit of tiki-taka from the Suns in the middle. It's back to Gatcombe, who looks to hoop it over the top for Elliott. He'll put a bit of pressure on. Flowers got to make a decision here, but he does really well to pick up Banavac, who is fouled by Shamoon, and the ref's just coming over. He might have a word for him. I don't think it'll be a booking, but he's just letting him know that's not on in NPL 2 football, or anywhere for that matter.
Yes, bit of a Sunday League challenge there from Shamoon. Tends to get a bit excited sometimes when the ball's up in the air.
Yeah, North Geelong players not too happy, having a word with both the linesman and the referee. I think should have been more, and we can now see why. The referees awarded the free kick to the GV Suns somehow. That's an interesting decision. That'll raise some questions probably now and after the game, but Suns nevertheless have got a ball in a pretty dangerous area here inside North Geelong's half. Shane Dunn to take. Here's Dunn. Fizzes it back to Gatcombe, who does a bit of acrobatics, but that's not going to challenge Flavel at all. What did you make of that call from the ref there, Blake?
I'm not sure what exactly was going through his head there. I think it was definitely a foul on the North Geelong Warriors player. I think it most certainly should have been a free kick awarded to Geelong, so I'm not too sure what he or his officiating team were thinking there.
Yeah, nonetheless, the North Geelong are not better off because of it, or worse. The scores remain 3-1, but Jamie DeSmit makes way for Darcy Paulick in the midfield. Darcy Paulick, of course, coming across from Murray United as their senior side has folded, but he's really a bit of a spark for the Suns in the midfield so far this season. Ooh, and that's another interesting decision for the ref. Shane Dunn appears to be clipped by Michael Anderson, but they've gone the other way and decided to say, no, that's North Geelong's ball. You think if this sort of officiating keeps up, could things boil over here at McEwen Reserve?
Oh, most certainly. We all know that the GV Suns very passionate side as the ball gets clipped into the box here. Oh, nothing amounts to that. Ball out just outside the edge of the area. Comes back in to his left winger. Ball gets put back over the top by North Geelong. Bit of a scramble. Pandemonium in the box. Oh. GV Suns. Liam Kilty. No, not Liam Kilty. Not happy. Not happy at the moment.
Nevertheless, the referee has awarded a penalty to North Geelong as a bit of chaos in the box. We're not entirely sure. It may have been Alice Williamson or Matt Elliott, who have both had words to the ref, but regardless, it doesn't matter. Jamie Nogler has picked up the ball, placed it on the penalty spot, and is ready to make it 3-2. What can Zach McLeod do, the young keeper, against Jamie Nogler? and he's put it away, and that's 3-2. Jamie Nogler with North Geelong second, following a handball in the box from a GV Suns player. We're not sure who it was, but it's really made things interesting here at McEwen Reserve. 3-2, still the Suns lead, but North Geelong just flipped the game on its head with another goal. Can't be long left now, possibly another 15 to 20 here at McEwen Reserve. The Suns will have to find a gear, as North Geelong will no doubt be swinging for the fences here.
Yeah, it's a fourth goal in now 6 games for Jamie Nogler. Definitely been on the score sheet a few times this season as Shamoon drives forward, lays the ball out. Oh, no. Bit of a scrappy affair on the edge of the box there, but amounts to nothing for the GV Suns.
Yeah, Nogler with his fourth has been pretty composed all night, but after that goal, it seems Craig Carley's just got a little bit restless and will be making a change in the front third. So that'll be George Murray, who's done really well, scoring a goal, and he'll make way for Sean Grant, the Scotsman, who's got a couple himself this season, I believe, has he not?
Yeah, Sean Grant, top scoring player for the GV Suns this season with 2 goals, equal with Adam Gatcombe and Shane Dunn. Definitely one of the fiercest competitors in this squad, having played against and with him a few times. Ooh. Playing, with and against him a few times is definitely one of the fiercest competitors I've ever come up against.
Yeah, we just saw there the substitute, Darcy Paulick, had a drive-on goal, well saved by Hamish Flavel. And still 3-2 here as Anthony Benevac finds Nicholas Kosdra. He'll go up to his left winger. Lelliot cuts it out. It goes to ground. Here's Michael Anderson. He'll go wide. There's Morgan Filer, but Sean Grant makes an immediate impact. Couldn't quite win the ball there, but here's North Geelong. John Pikett goes all the way out to Kosdra as left back, and here's the substitute, Thomas Hiddich. Hadn't seen him on the ball too often so far. Here's Filer. Nash. There's Yuji Kin, who fights hard, but it will be a North Geelong throw.
Just touching on the substitution of Sean Grant coming into the fray, you won't find many better impact players in the league than him. The man of energy and pace and skill he brings into this team. It's a bit of a shock that he wasn't actually starting today, given the impact he's made on this team this season.
Yeah, I believe it is his first game in the league so far that he hasn't started for the Suns. Obviously a dead ball specialist, takes most of the corners and free kicks, but that's been given the duty to Shane Dunn. But here's Ken on the charge, fizzes one across, and he's put it in. And there's the equalizer for North Geelong Warriors. Yuji Ken from nowhere, one touch out at his feet and buries it in the bottom left-hand corner of the goal, and that's 3-3. Things just really starting to heat up here at McEwen Reserve. It's 3-3, and from the Suns being 3-1 up, probably only 15, 20 minutes ago, to now being level, you can just sort of see the look on Craig Farley's face from here. He won't be happy with 2 goals conceded in quick succession.
Yeah, unfortunately something we've seen all too often, the GV Suns in previous years. They've gone a couple goals up. Boys have started getting maybe a little bit too confident, in fact, and conceded a quick fire 2 goals. Liam Kilty was devastated. Matt Lelliot clearly very upset. Craig Carley not happy either. So the boys are definitely going to want to lift now. We've got a drawn game on our hands, 3-3, with probably about 15 minutes remaining.
Here we are, as Nicholas Kosdra look to restart. He'll look forward. Kilty will go for Shamoon, who's been great all night for the Suns. Just dancing around his man. But it is cleared.
If the Suns really are serious about this promotion push, they really need to be winning games like this, especially when they're going 3-1 up. It's really not acceptable to be conceding 2 goals in the space of 5 minutes against a side like North Geelong, despite how well they've played.
Yeah, you are right there, Blake. They've just coughed up a 2-goal lead in no time, and the way things are going, you feel like they'd be doing well to pick a point away from this fixture. But here's Nash on the left-hand flank. He'll fizz one across. It's a bit of a rare cross from Nash, which you don't see often. That's probably why, as the ball finds touch. But yeah, the Suns now, you feel the likes of Grant will really bring it upon themselves to drag their side back into the game. Oh, a bit of a shaky touch there from Flavel. As North Geelong just cough up possession. It'll be another Nash throw on that left-hand side. Plenty of movement from the Suns. And the ball does find Grant. What's he got? Goes around his man. Back to Paulick. And he's dragged down, and the Suns now have a free kick in pretty dangerous territory, probably about 25 yards out from goal. Who steps over this, in your opinion, Blake?
Well, I think Sean Grand's just answered your question there, Liam. He's grabbed the ball, placed it down, and he's normally the free kick specialist within this kind of range. Would not surprise me if he puts a very ferocious effort on target.
Yeah, we know he can hit him, and I have seen him score a few from this range myself. So if I was Hamish Flavel, I'd just be pretty cautious of what the Scotsman's got to offer here. Others standing over it look to be Adam Gatcombe and Varney Shamoon, who have also both displayed that they can hit a ball tonight alone. So can the Suns go ahead once more in this game? We'll soon find out. It is going to be Sean Grant, but it's low and into the wall. Nevertheless, he'll go out wide to Williamson, who is handy on his feet for a centre-back. But Thomas Hiddich, the substitute, has done really well to keep that out.
I really think Coach Craig Carley could benefit from the inclusion of Fraser Gostre right around this time. They need a goal. I think he could offer a little bit more than Shamoon or Jimmy Lalliott. Just being fresh off the bench, he's clearly eager to play. He's recovered from injury. I think that'd be the next obvious substitution to put him on for one of those two.
Yeah, and that was Jimmy Lalliott, who's fed the ball back out wide to Adam Gatcombe under some fierce pressure. And he flicks a ball in the direction of the 6-yard box, but it's picked up by the North Geelong custodian. Here's Nicholas Cosdra on the ball. Will he look to go long? No, he won't. But Jamie Nogler will, and he's just having a few words with himself about it. Wasn't too pleased with that ball, as probably rightly shouldn't be. Here's Nash. What'll he do? He's getting pressed pretty hard there by John Pikett, but he will win the throw. Nash will pick up the ball, go to Darcy Paulick, the substitute. He'll stand on it, go for a run. Anthony Banovac wins back the ball for North Geelong. And that's a pretty silly challenge there from Shane Dunn. And he'll earn himself a booking for that one.
Despite how well the Suns have started this second half, North Geelong have definitely taken control the last 5 to 10 minutes. You see a bit of an overexcited challenge there by Dunn. North Geelong definitely looking to try and snag a winner here.
Yeah, you're certainly right, as there's just a bit of a break in play here. But North Geelong, after scoring that second goal, after the Suns had bagged their third, just came out straight away and put another one home. So shaping up to be a really interesting last 10-15 minutes here at McEwen. The scores are 3-3 for those who've just tuned in. Here's Cosdra. He'll go for a little drive. Picks out Nogler, who has put one in the back of the net tonight. He'll have a drive across, and he's put it right into the path of Luka Jurkovic, who can't find the net from 6 yards. Zach McLeod was in the perfect spot to gobble that one up, but that is a gilt-edged chance gone begging for North Geelong. Blake, your thoughts?
Oh, well, it looks like now the way both teams are playing, very erratic. I think whoever wants it more is just going to win this game, just that plain and simple. I think Suns have definitely got to try and claw back the ball and keep possession a little bit more and stop giving it away so cheaply like they have done the past 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, after dominating for the lion's share of this second half, North Geelong have come back firing, and you could have felt that they should have really gone ahead there. A great ball in from Jamie Nogler, who'd skinned his man on the left-hand side of the field and whipped one across into the path of Luka Jurkovic, who couldn't quite convert. But that means the scores remain at 3-3 as McLeod hooks it forward, but he can only find Kin, who has, like Nogler, scored himself tonight. There's John Pikett, challenged by Nash. Well cut out by Keelty, but the pressure's still on as Jamie Nogler whips it into McEwen reserve too. And it looks like you've got your wish, Blakey. Adam Gatcombe will depart for Fraser Gostray, who'll be coming up, you'd assume, in the front third. What do you think this young man has to offer?
Oh, I think he's definitely one of the more attacking players in this senior setup. He's someone who's very deserving of this senior spot in the team. Unlucky not to be starting more games, but he'll definitely provide a good impact off the bench. He'll definitely cause North Geelong some problems late in this second half.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle. Nicholas Kosdra going up against Fraser Gostray in this last 10 minutes. And here's Darcy Paulick running forward. He's got Gostray to his right, and here he is. What can he produce? Puts one across. It's a good ball, and Matty Lelliot, the leaping salmon, flashes it left of the post. But Gostray just demonstrating what he can do in his first involvement of the game. What a chance for the Suns.
Well, we've seen Jimmy Lelliot move back into his more natural right fullback position and got Fraser Gostray on the right wing. You can see just then why Coach Craig Carley has decided to put him on late in these dying stages. How much he offers going forward is just something very special that you struggle to get from a lot of young players these days, the flair.
Yeah, certainly. And Matt Lelliot doing his best local alt impression there, getting both feet off the ground and pretty unlucky not to hit the target, but good signs for the Suns there. North Geelong will pick up the ball on about the halfway line. Just a bit of a lull here at McEwen Reserve as the ball's getting retrieved. It's pretty hard to pick which way this game will go in the last, but do you think the Suns can sneak a winner, Blake?
Oh, I think they certainly can. All the attacking prowess they've got going forward, there's no question of their quality to score at least one more goal. It's just the way the defence has handled these attacks in this second half has definitely proved costly. So I think they can do it. They just need to believe in themselves and cut out some of these silly mistakes in the middle of the park. Yeah,
certainly. And it looks like North Geelong's own substitute, Thomas Hiddich, is slotted into that centre forward role. So they'll be looking for that. The flick on from the big man, Luka Jurkovic, it paid off then, but didn't look like Hiddich had just read that quite as well as Jurkovic would have liked. But the Suns back in the ball with Nash. He'll flick it forward, looking for Paulick, but the ball has gone out for a North Geelong throw. The crowd's gone fairly quiet here at McEwen. There's just a heavy anticipation over the stadium, but Shane Dunn has sent one over the top looking for Gostray. He will get there. He'll flick it back first time for Jimmy Lelliot, and it's well cut out there by Jamie Nogler, doing well on his defensive duty. Jimmy Lelliot just looks to the heavens as he probably thought he could have done a bit better with that cutback, but he's earned his side of corner with Varney Shamoon shaping up. What's he got?
You want to be looking for big man Liam Kilty in the centre of the box here. Ooh. Out to the top to Jimmy Lelliot. Oh.
Yeah, that one was always rising from James Elliott. Probably just didn't get his head over the ball as he flashed it high and right of the North Geelong goal. But, yeah, as you said, there's plenty of chances, but not too many minutes left here at McEwen Reserve. Scores are still locked at 3-3, but North Geelong just about to make their second change of the night. It appears to be Julian Cassano entering the field of play. And it is the captain, Orion Opperman, the first goal scorer for North Geelong, making way. What did you make of Opperman's performance tonight?
Oh, I thought he was pretty good for North Geelong, one of their better players. Always Varney Shamoon who slipped forward, and he rounds the keeper and he scored! Oh! GV Suns 4-3 up, courtesy of Varney Shamoon. Ladies and gentlemen, unbelievable. The crowd is going mental.
You just felt like something had to give on either end, and it certainly did there. Varney Shamoon just popping out of nowhere, latching onto a through ball and just slotting away with absolute ease. And that's the GV Suns, 4-3 ahead now at McEwen Reserve. What a turnaround. It's been an absolute roller coaster here, with the Suns first going 3-1 up, then conceding 2 to be level, and then now just popping up with to gain the ascendancy once more. What do you make of it all, Blake?
Well, it seems Coach Craig Carley made the right decision resting Varney Shamoon midweek for the FFA Cup match. He's definitely provided them plenty tonight. He scored 2 goals and created many chances, so I think he's probably been their star man at this point.
Yeah, he'd be definitely up there for man of the match, but Suns now, they just have to be careful, as North Geelong will be throwing the kitchen sink and some. Ken flicks the ball across, and Jurkovic flashes the ball wide off the head. He's been prominent in the air all night and was fairly unlucky not to get that one on target. Suns get away with it again. You just feel like they really need to shut things up at the back. They've brought on plenty of attacking prowess up top, but where the game's going to be won is in defence. Is that your thoughts, Blake?
Well, being 4-3 up, we can only assume there's probably 5 to 10 minutes left to play. The GV Suns are going to stay very tight defensively. You do not want to go 4-all this late in the game and rely on your team to score another goal to get you out of the shit at this point.
Here's Filer going forward. That's John Pikett, who's had a fairly quiet second half, but he'll win the ball for North Geelong. Throw it in himself into the middle of the park. That's Jamie Nogler, who's been a threat all night. Again, there's Jurkovic. He is offside, but just those darting runs into the box. You just feel like either Kilty or Williamson needs to just pick him up and not let him go, because he's just finding space inside the 18-yard box and probably should have a goal to his name.
Yeah, Jurkovic definitely making a nuisance of himself up there. Probably taking a bit of advantage over the young centre-back pairing of Alice Williamson and Liam Kilty. Certainly making an absolute nuisance of himself. Would not be surprised if he's involved later on in this game also.
Yeah, certainly. And we can just see North Geelong has made another sub, and that was Michael Anderson, the midfielder, coming off for young Lucas Skoka, I believe. Sorry, Skoko. My apologies. Yes, the man we've talked about earlier. Obviously, a bit of a talent. Can he pull back a leveller for North Geelong? We'll wait to find out. Here's Lelliot, restarting play. Jamie Nogler wins the header. Gostray gives chase, and he seems to have clipped Filer late there. And it will be a foul for North Geelong. But there's not much time left, and they've realised that as they've gone short, Filer goes right. And the ball's whipped across. Jamie Lelliot will make sure that doesn't find the feet of Jamie Nogler, who gives the ball a bit of a polish and shapes up to go long, it appears. Plenty of men running forward here for North Geelong. He'll be looking for that man, Jurkovic, who does get his nut on the ball, but it goes to safety. This is the centre-back Piler, but he's chased down by 2 GV Suns players, and it will go up for a throw. Nogler grabs the ball again and says, yep, I'll have that. You'd be thinking, get the ball away from Luka Vujkovic if you're a Suns man. And they do well, but it's going to be Nogler here.
Really like to see Alice Williamson or Liam Kilty take a bit more ownership of the big number 9 there. He's been causing all sorts of havoc in this second half. I'd just like to see one of them pick him up a little bit tighter. Oh, we've got a foul in the centre here. What is going on? Looks like the referee's gone to his book. And he's presented a yellow card.
Yeah, we're not entirely sure who that yellow card is been awarded to, but there was a bit of a skirmish. Shane Dunn was brought down with vigour in the centre of the park there. But GV Suns will take their sweet time as the second half is really coming to a bit of a close here. Scores read 4-3 in the Suns' favour, and Williamson will go long looking for Fraser Gostray, who hasn't actually had a lot of the ball since his first involvement, where he nearly set up a goal, but a bit of slick passing from North Geelong, but Hidditch can't get onto the ball flicked through from Jurkovic, who's been a real threat up front for North Geelong all night. He'd have to be one of their better players, you'd assume.
Yeah, certainly. We can all assume he'll be scoring a fair few goals this season the way he's played tonight, and just the presence the man has, just really bullying both the Suns centre backs all night, making an absolute nuisance of himself. He's definitely one to watch for future fixtures. Yeah,
certainly, but he'll need to come up with something a bit more. But Varney Shamoon battling hard. He'll flick the ball into Darcy Paulick's path, but we're not sure what's going on here. It has been called offside by the official, but a few words being said there between Paulick and I believe that's Morgan Filer. Nevertheless, North Geelong pick up the ball. Advantage played. It's Kostra goes forward. Zach McLeod will put that onto the roof here at McEwen. Probably just telling his side to settle here as it's coming close to boiling over here at McEwen Reserve. A few interesting tackles laid by both teams, but Jamie Nogler, he'll sit up for another long throw looking for Jurkovic. It's out. Paulick gets a toe on it. It's flicked back by Filer. And Liam Kilty will get it away, but here it is. Suns get away scathe 3 yet again. Flavel will get on the ball. Ball's pinged long, looking for Jamie Nogler. The touch is okay, but Gostray's hot in his heels and uses his body well to win the foul for the GV Suns. Can't be far away from full-time whistle. What do you reckon, Blake?
We'd have to assume there's 5 minutes or less at this point. Kiwi, North Geelong desperately looking for a late equaliser as the ball gets chipped out to Sean Grant. Held up well by North Geelong. Oh, and the referee's blown. He's gone...
Oh, Sean Grant just shoved to the ground. He went in hard with both feet. Did win the ball, but his opposite wasn't too pleased and got up straight away and let him know about it. So there's just a bit of a skirmish here down the far left-hand side of McEwen Reserve. Words being said. Craig Carley just screaming at his troops to compose themselves and hold on.
Yes, one of the small downsides with Sean Grant is sometimes you do get a little bit too much passion, especially in the dying stages of the game. He's a very fierce competitor and one not to be taken lightly. He does love a tackle or two.
Yeah, no shortage of passion from Grant as he does receive a yellow. But a good player and a very handy addition to the Suns side this season. He'll look to lead the line up front all year. But I think he'd be happy if his side could hold on for the 3 points here. 4-3 in the Suns' favour with really not long to go. And speaking of not long to go, referee has just blown the final whistle. The scores finish 4-3 to the GV Suns over North Geelong Warriors. What a game, Blake.
You love to see it from the GV Suns at home. That win will put them right up the top with Brunswick, Pascoe Vale, Kingston and Langwarrin, who they travel to next week. They make the massive drive down to Langwarrin, and you absolutely love to see the performance they've put on tonight. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, just touching on the highs and lows. Suns going down with North Geelong scoring early, then equalising, going into the sheds at 1-1, then bursting ahead early in the second half to a 2-goal lead, and then North Geelong rallying to come back to 3-3, and then Varney Shamoon popping up late, finishing a 1-on-1 chance to seal the game for the Suns, and that means the Suns have now earned its 4th win of the season in the NPL2, and North Geelong will make the long drive home with really nothing to show for it, despite a really good showing. What did you make of the opposition's performance?
I thought North Geelong battled hard. They were well on top of the Suns for the majority of that second half, really. Scored 2 goals in quick succession. Probably a fair result that the Suns walk away with the win here. I think they were the better team overall. But, yeah, North Geelong, they'll certainly win a few more games this season, but not tonight.
No, not tonight indeed. As the players leave the park, I think that that'll be all from us. We'll wrap it up. I've been Liam Nash, and I've been co-commentated alongside Blake Corso. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you at the next Suns home game here at McEwen Reserve.